We're talking with Dr. Jennifer Austin Lee, who is a doctor of psychology and the author of the book Girls, You Just Don't Get It. So let's talk a little bit more about listening, since we're both practicing it ourselves right now.
Yes.
When your teenage daughter comes home and you have that wonderful moment where she is sharing some of the information, let's talk about how to be an active listener to those kind of conversations. Is she telling you, when she tells you stories about her friends, what's the meaning of that?
Well, it's going to be different for each situation. But that's the job, that's kind of the challenging job of listening, is really trying to discern what is it your child is deep down trying to communicate. Because most of the time when we communicate, we're communicating a need of some sort. So when she's telling you about her girlfriends, a mom's job is to ask questions so she can dig down and find out, why is she sharing this information with me? Because your daughter, that daughter's really trying to share a truth of some sort.
And is she sharing the story of what happened with her and her girlfriends over the weekend because she wants you to come up with answers for her? Or is it better to kind of sit back and hear her cogitate about it and come up with her own sort of solutions?
Again, each girl's different. Maybe she's crying out for help. Maybe she just needs to speak it so that she can come up with her own answers. Maybe she's shocked by what she's heard, and she wants to get feedback, or saw, or participated in, and she wants to get a feedback from mom. I mean, like I said, you have to really burrow down and find out what need she's presenting to you, and that's, as I say, that's the real challenging part for the parent, is just not listening to the superficial, this is what happened, but going deeper.
Yeah. What about that taboo, the sexuality thing? Are girls becoming sexually active younger?
Depending on which report you read, some say yes, some say no. In my experience, in talking to many, many, many teens, yes, I think so. That's certainly what it would indicate.
And is there pressure among their peers, their girlfriends, or is it young men who are making that happen?
Well, I think there's just a lot of pressure from the media. The message are you need to be sexy, you need to be hot. You're hearing it in the lyrics and lots of songs, all the sexual activity. And so they're getting pressure from just so many different places, and certainly there is a competitiveness with other girls. We do know that if a teenage girl thinks that their friends are sexual, they feel like then that they need to be, kind of keeping up with the Joneses. And certainly, some young guys are going to be pressuring as well.
Is there something you can fill your child's life with? And I hesitate to even call them a child. Are there opportunities for your teen to be involved in something else so that she hasn't got time to worry about this or dress like this or get all this input? Are there distractions you can arrange?
Well, what we do know, one of the things that can offset really early sexual activity in young girls is to have a really close relationship with their mother. That's one of the reasons I do the work I do, is really trying to help build that bond. And one of the things that used to be in kids' life that has been taken out of their lives in school and just in growing up in families is play. And we know that play is one way that their brains grow. And when a kid is actively engaged in play and thinking and being imaginative, certainly their thoughts aren't on, am I sexy, am I dressed right? They're playing, but the play stops when they're young, and it's been pulled out of school because of the No Child Left Behind.
Oh, yeah.
We're focused on grades.
Academics.
Yes.
Yeah, let's pass the test.
We are so doing our kids in this nation a huge disservice that they took play and creativity out of the classroom, and it just seems to be out of their lives. And when I bring that back into a family that I work with, or a group and a program, they light up. I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing. And like I said, when you're playing and you're getting back in touch with that little innocent part of you, you just don't have time, at least in that moment, to be thinking, is my lipstick on right? Is my hair right? Is my cleavage showing? Am I just perfect?
Just right, yeah. Are my pants tight enough?
Or low enough?
Yeah. Yeah, the fashion part of this, I'm sure, is extremely has a lot to do with it. Aren't moms dressing in a more sexy way and therefore fueling this fire?
That's a really great question. I mean, I think the pressure is on across the board for us women to be hot. I'm 50, and I'm certainly feeling the pressure that I'm not supposed to age. I'm not supposed to have a wrinkle on my face. I'm supposed to look young. The Botox, everything. There's just this enormous pressure in our society now for women to be pretty, to be beautiful. I mean, it's just the sexualization of women, or you know, we're becoming more and more sexual objects, no matter how old you are. I mean, we certainly didn't have the term MILF, and now with
I'm unfamiliar with that.
MILF, mothers I'd like to, and you can fill in
Oh
the
my
F word.
goodness
And
gracious.
then with Sarah, you know, when she was running as vice president, then the term was GILF, a grandmother I'd like to.
Oh.
So suddenly now, even at 50, for my age, you know, it's like I have to worry about being sexy. So it's across the board. So I know women, I think, we're just all feeling like we have to be youthful, and we have to, you know, be this certain, you know, live in this certain little box with fashion and whatnot.
And compete with supermodels.
Oh, yes.
Do you deal with any of the food eating disorders in your book? You girls having bulimia, having anorexia.
I talk about certain things that can damage them growing up, so they could be prone to that. But my work is very different than what, let's say, a psychologist would do, where they would look for pathology and then try and help cure that pathology. I life coach teen girls, and I parent coach their moms. So my role is a little bit different than looking for that. Certainly some of the girls that I work with might have those disorders, but I'm not treating that disorder.